Dan, the struggle is real.
Oh, is it ever? I hear you.
It is real. I'm into week 3 of whatever I got week.
Wow.
Yeah, I am sick. I have no energy. I hurt.
Jeez.
And I hadn't done a video for a while and I just felt bad. So I put one out, complaining about being sick. And I got, a lot of people were telling me to hang in there and stuff, which I have been. I still have a business to run, but I've just been doing deliveries. I haven't really been doing anything else. I just don't feel good.
Yeah, that's when I had whatever I had, it was 4 to 5 days. I was completely out of commission. So it's tough.
Yeah, if you don't have health, what do you have?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Anytime I get sick, I think, if I get through this, I'm gonna eat better. I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna give up Dr. Pepper, and cut out my sugar and all, and then I'm, just right back at it. But
and sometimes those are the things that make you feel good, though. Those are the things that help you recover, getting back in the groove.
Why do they make it taste so good if it's bad for you? I don't know.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But we were still. So we did our past episode where we interviewed Austin Roberts of the LogOx company, and that was in our queue for a while. It was nice to get that put up. We had taken a week off because we were both not feeling too hot, and I'm able to record this, right now, but my head hurts, my stomach is upset. But I will soldier on through this experience, and we'll try to get a good episode out here for our listeners. If you are tuning in to the Wood Hounds Podcast, thank you for coming back. My name is Joe, and I'm sitting across from
Dan, Back 40 Firewood.
Yeah, Dan is a YouTube channel from Back 40 Firewood. I am a YouTube channel from Ohio Woodburner. And we are creeping up on our 1-year anniversary for the Wood Hounds Podcast, Dan. We're almost at episode 52.
Yeah. And I will tell you something might brighten your day. This might make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
That last episode that you mentioned with Austin from LogOx, that was actually our highest downloaded episode to date.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it had some people must have enjoyed it. It was nice. It was nice to see those numbers.
And probably it should have been. I thought that was a really nice episode. It was a change of our typical format. It was our first time we've interviewed an outside person. And what Dan and I had talked about going into the new year was, what can we do to increase the reach and the quality of the Wood Hounds Podcast? And that was one of the things. We think, we have a platform where we can reach out and get a chance to get to know better some movers and shakers in our industry.
Right. But Joe.
Yeah.
With that good news, I also have to tell you, there's a little asterisk mark here. However, even with the highest downloaded episode to date in the history of the podcast, however, there was some feedback we did receive that the episode kind of felt like a big infomercial or like a push for just, advertising LogOx. And there, there's that fine line, I guess, that you do have to walk, but that was some feedback we did receive.
Well, I'm pausing here because, okay, I'm not feeling too hot. Maybe this is the wrong week to do this. So I read one of the comments. I appreciate and I respect everyone's opinion. You can't hurt my feelings. Say what you want. But Dan, if I'm being real, how can we interview someone like Austin Roberts from the LogOx and not talk about the product?
Yes.
And that was what, he was like, oh, what are we going to talk about, guys? And I was thinking, well, talk about your company. We want to know where you come, where you started, where you're going, what you got coming, any new products, anything like that. It's, I don't know what else we could talk about. We talked about his past, his time in
Yep.
the military, his educational background, his family, and what he enjoys doing most. So, okay, I recognize, Dan, there is probably an underlying feeling that some consumers of social media, and I'm a consumer too. I mean, I'm on YouTube when I'm not watching my channel, and with podcasts. And there are some channels that have a reputation that they're just, hawking product, the new and exciting tool of the day. But when we interview the owner, the co-founder, and the general manager of a major league brand like LogOx, I mean, what the heck else is there to talk about?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's one of those things where you can't interview, like you said, an owner of a company or a manager of a company without them talking about their product or their company. So yeah, but I do get, I do understand where people come from. I, however, do not really have those thoughts when I see things going on like that with other channels, other podcasts. I mean, that's the reason why you have guests on usually. Like if you watch some podcasts, they'll have somebody on that's releasing a book or starring in a movie or coming out with a new product. Like that's how they get their word out there about their company.
Yeah. And I think that is a future role of the Wood Hounds. You and me had sat down. We thought, who could we get to sit down and let us interview them? And we come up with a nice, like Andrew Easton was a name that we threw out, because he's very present on social media. And then we thought, what about the CEO of like Husqvarna or Steel Chainsaws, and
Yeah.
and then, like politicians, and or like a spokesperson for the EPA or a stove company, things from that area of our industry that still touch on firewood, that we could bring them on and help them enrichen our day. And that's why after I read this comment, I just saw it from multiple different levels. But the bottom line is, how in the world can we possibly interview someone without them talking about the elephant in the room? And that's what they're here to begin with. They're here to talk about their company.
Yeah, and that's where no matter what we ask, if whoever we interview, whatever we ask, if they have certain talking points they want to get across, it's not our right to then say, "Well, wait a minute, censor that out. We don't want you pushing your product." I mean, it's this is like an open forum for people out there listening to maybe somebody never even heard of the LogOx and now they know the story behind it and the fact that it's a family-owned business. Everything's made in the USA. Maybe that's something then of value for them to decide if they want to buy it.
It's a great story that they have.
Yeah.
It started as an idea in
Right.
a retiree's head, and he employed his family, and they've knocked it out of the park.
Yep.
So, Dan, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh.
Okay. And this is so on the spot. I haven't even told you. This is just an idea that I have. And I want you to raise your right arm, raise your right hand, and you're going to swear here. I'm going to ask you some questions and you answer the truth. Okay. Cause we still have Austin Roberts out there who would, I think would probably answer the same way as you. Okay. Did we ask Austin or LogOx for any payment to sit down for our interview?
No.
Did LogOx offer us any money or any compensation at all for them to sit down for that interview?
No.
Yeah. So I know in the past, I had an affiliate link for the LogOx on my channel about a year ago. And I remember seeing the LogOx on your channel, but I don't know if yours was an affiliate link or not.
Yes, it was.
It was.
Yes.
Okay. So, I still never met the guy, and I just knew his name, from social media. So I reached out to him, and he was all for it. But I think there are, I don't know, we're not, I guess we are journalists in some way. I don't feel like one. There's journalistic ethics about, the scandal in the 50s was called payola, in the music industry, where certain musicians were paying money to have their records played on the radio stations. So that is not in our that is not in our capacity to open up our office, our desk here for someone who's going to pay money to be on the Wood Hounds podcast. That is not going to happen. There is, and I will never apologize for this, about a social influencer, a YouTuber, a person with a podcast who can make money with their podcast. And I think for as long as we've had the Wood Hounds podcast, Dan, I think there has been one ad ran on one episode. Is that correct?
I believe so. It hasn't been many.
I think it was just the one, and it was so when our podcast, to get it onto all of these platforms, you have to pay for a service, and they have this service where you can agree to be in it, and if there's an advertiser that wants to put an ad on your episode, you can get a small cut of it. And so we clicked that box, yes, but we've never really, I think we've only had the one commercial. If you are a regular consumer of podcasts, it's routine that there are commercials on episodes, and it could be about anything, aspirin to toasters. So that is, we have lost money with our podcast, Dan, because we have to pay money for that service, and it's like $200 a year, isn't it?
Yeah, I think somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it is, guys. I'm telling everyone out there in podcast world, if Dan and I can monetize the Wood Hound podcast, we would consider it. But we are both also in agreement that it has to be relevant to our niche, and that's the same thing. I have my own standards with my own YouTube channel. I don't do commercials, or I don't show products on my channel that have nothing to do with firewood.
Yeah, I think that people sometimes get the wrong idea about something like an affiliate link. What the purpose of that is, there's two things. Number one, it gives the person buying the product a discount. It also gives a little bit of that discount back to the person like promoting the link, but it also is used for tracking so that a company can gauge the response and the engagement from offering an affiliate link. So like if we were to offer an affiliate link on the podcast and that link was accessed 100 times, it would then let that company know, oh, there's some engagement here. So, there's that's why like sometimes you'll see affiliate links and you'll hear about affiliate links. It's not like we're sitting here cashing checks and going to the bank every other day. And I think that's where people get that they're rubbed the wrong way, where they're like, oh, this is an advertisement and you guys are just making all this money.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. Specific to YouTube. So if you are a YouTube channel, the first hurdles are, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of viewing time, something like that.
Yes. Yep.
If you cross that threshold, you can click the box, yes, do you want to monetize, which means do you want to share in the Google AdSense program? So there's these commercials ran on your YouTube video and you get a percentage of it. The thing with YouTube is if you are or if you are not participating in the AdSense program, YouTube is still putting commercials on your YouTube channel. Because I hear people say there's too many commercials on your videos, Joe. And had I not been a monetized channel, there would be the exact same amount of video commercials.
Yep.
It would just be YouTube would be keeping all of it and I would get none of it. That is right in the terms of YouTube. And they changed that about a year and a half ago. And I remember it annoyed a lot of people because you're not monetized, but you're still having to have commercials on your videos.
Yeah, the ads are still running when you play your video, and you're not getting anything for it.
Now, podcasting is different. Podcasting is kind of like the Wild West. It's up to me and Dan to go out and find advertisers, I'm just going to say, Husqvarna or Steel chainsaws. We would call up someone at Steel and say, hey, would you guys be interested in putting a 30-second commercial on our episode? And if so, we would charge you X. And then they would say, who are you? Go away.
Yes. Delete.
Yeah. So that would be one way that we can monetize. We have that ability. There's really no terms of an agreement other than with the host that we use that puts our episodes on all of the podcast platforms. But, that's up to us. We can monetize in any way we want. And if LogOx were ever to call us up and they'd say, hey, guys, we had such a great time and a great response. Could we put a 30-second commercial on your podcast? I am confident that Dan and I would say, heck yeah.
Yes,
let's do it. Oh, you better believe it. But for content, an interview, no, we we do not take any money for it. It is just a opportunity for us to create an episode that you guys would find enjoyable and maybe get to learn something about an iconic American product.
Yeah, it's it's funny, it's that big X factor is always money. Mm-hmm. It always seems to complicate things, and then always, I don't know, like I had a neighbor that had some trees that blew down, and she told me I could have the trees, no problem, take the wood, whatever. But then she found out I was selling firewood and making some money off it, and then she said, no, I couldn't have the trees.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, just because the thought of me making money off of something that, I don't know, it's just sometimes, so I think there is that sense out there with people listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, that once they start seeing more and more of what they consider potential revenue earnings, like having guests on from a company, I mean, I don't know, mm-hmm. It's to me, it just seems...
I've had that happen to me, and I think that's why I never got my second truck lettered, because I still buy firewood. I had a guy, he kind of bristled when he found out I was selling it. I was like,
yeah,
I don't know what the big deal is here, bud. I'm giving you your asking price, Yep. And then once I buy it, what I do with it's none of your business.
Yeah.
But man, people, I don't know. They don't want to see someone profiting or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange. And I think a lot of people who get into something like YouTube or something like podcasting, at some point, you do have to ask yourself, if there's an opportunity to make money and earn some money from this, why would I not, why am I doing this if that's, that's not a potential goal?
Because, preach on, Dan.
Yeah.
Preach on, brother Dan.
I mean, and that's the thing I find funny is a lot of people will celebrate and they'll cheer on the small business owner or somebody out there trying to make their way in the world. But then all of a sudden, there's like a twist where all of a sudden they say, "Oh, wait a minute now. You're doing this and making money? Well, maybe I
Mhm.
don't. Maybe I don't agree with it."
Yeah, really. So I will say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I will never, ever apologize for making money with social media, with my YouTube channel, with my Facebook page, with my podcast. Excuse me, our podcast. I, you will never hear me apologize. This is a capitalistic society. I am a capitalist, and
Yes.
you know, you the but it goes both ways. So if my consumers, the people that enjoy my podcast, if I change or shift in ways that turn them off, then they turn me off. And that's the dynamic here. And I
Yep.
think what we're getting with some of these comments is maybe a little bit into that. There is a wholesomeness, a salt of the earth component to a YouTube channel. I mean, just use me or you as an example. I'm just a simple guy from Ohio that was selling, I started with a pool and a pickup truck. And I've gotten bigger. I've gotten big machines. My business continues to grow and my channel reflects that. And then some people, they start losing interest because they had an appeal to the simple guy with that pool and a pickup, where they lose it with mass production. I understand that. But at the same time, too, what I'm doing is a reflection of what I'm doing. And, I don't have any intentions of just selling firewood for beer money. I mean, I used to, but it's now a lifestyle, and it's how I'm putting food on a table. So I'm not going to apologize because my business has grown, and also my YouTube channel too. When this was all a new experience to me. I still remember my daughter told me if I got when I hit my 1,000 subscribers, she goes, "You can monetize now." And I says, "You mean I got to start paying to put videos up?" And she says, "No, you get paid to put
You
videos
get
up." I was,
paid.
I was like, "Holy cow, are you serious? This is cool." So heck yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I can, but I'm still gonna stay true to what I do. I'm not gonna dress up in a clown suit and do somersaults. I'm gonna be just what I do and how I do it.
Exactly. I am in the same boat. I will never apologize for what I'm doing because I think a lot of people out there don't understand how this new creator economy works and how it's just exploded over the last 2 years to where someone, like you said, a simple man from Ohio or Wisconsin, we can create something that anyone in the world can see, and the more people who see it, the more interest you might have from companies to then, you know, partner with you and get information out there on either products or whatever. I mean, I
Sure.
just see it as an opportunity that um it's just unique, and it's very, I don't know, I love it. I'm full on into the creator economy, probably more than a lot of people realize. Like I'm all in.
I agree. Over the years, Dan, I stumbled upon opportunity with YouTube. Yeah, with now my relationship with Yappa and Metza Machines is kind of blended because I've bought a lot of this stuff, but then there is also relationship driven discounts. Like the cleaner is not mine, the log deck, but I bought the machine. Um, the Easton made log splitter, that was a an agreement between me and that company to showcase that machine, and it's mine to use as long as I want it. And then other companies like Titan Attachments, which I love, my grapple, all the tools, the attachments that I have for my tractor. So that's all part of an agreement. They would give me the item, and then I display it on my channel, and then I would get an affiliate link. So they use me for data because I drive a lot of clicks to their website because of my channel. So, but you disclose all that, and I think I've been pretty upfront about it. And I remember when it first started, I was kind of embarrassed. You didn't know how to say it, but I just come around and say it. What's the big deal? You
Yeah.
know, um, and it still continues to this day. And when I see a channel that gets something, that I don't have, good for them, man. I mean, why would I get upset about something that has no bearing on my life? And if a channel gets a log splitter from company X or a chainsaw or a tractor, I don't know, good for them. You know, when someone wins the lottery, I think great for them.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I use it if it's something that I look at and I say, God, I wish I had that opportunity. Then I use that as motivation to myself to get to the point where I can either display to that company a value add by having me represent them, or showcase, having some company reach out to me because they see the value in what I can bring to them. Like that's what then motivates and drives me. And I don't resent anyone. I don't get upset about it. Like I said, I just use it to motivate.
No. And then I'm sitting here too, and I'm thinking, but you know what? I don't really have that many affiliate type episodes anyways. You know, I get solicitations all the time. I need to keep a list, and I'll read them off to you guys one day. You'd be shocked at the amount of products, and these are legitimate inquiries of people wanting me to, show their product on my channel. Some of them are just completely irrelevant. I keep using the wallpaper thing. But some of them are very relevant, but honestly, I just don't feel like doing it. There's like a level of stress that comes when you have someone's product. And I did, this was a while ago. I had a power tool company that wanted me to demonstrate their tools, and I needed some. I wanted those 1/2-inch impact, battery operated impact
Ooh,
guns.
yeah. Yeah.
And I wanted it, man, because I could use it. Well, then they sent me an agreement, and it was, you have to say these bullet points, and we have to approve the video before you put it up. And I said, deal's off, man. And they said, oh, no, no, no. We want to. I says, no. I says, I will not put, I will not agree to these terms. I will put the video up. It's my video, and I will say what I want to say. If this tool works, great. If it doesn't work, I'll still be polite about it, but I'm going to talk about what it does and what it doesn't do. But
Yeah.
that's just me. Now that's just me. I could
Right.
have, taken every opportunity I could to get any kind of tool on my channel, but that's just me though.
Yeah. So there you go. That's I hopefully those out there with the thoughts of we were selling our souls and turning the podcast into an infomercial. Hopefully you'll be calm to know, or reassured to know it's just the nature of the game. It's like it happens. If you take it as a big commercial, hey, that's your thought, that's your opinion, but that is not the intention.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dan, I think I'm going to go outside and take my LogOx F-150 for a ride around the block a couple times.
And if you're curious what a LogOx is, here's my affiliate link. No, just kidding.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
on sale now at a store near you.
And I don't know, maybe, sometimes I think there is a percentage of people out there who have an interest in hearing like what really happens when you have a YouTube channel. Like you mentioned all these emails you get. I'm the same way. I get approached by everything from, it's just crazy. But in the same sense, I also look at that, like I said, I think it's almost kind of rewarding because you're seen as potential value to a company. And
yeah,
if you've ever worked for someone and they don't appreciate or they don't see the value that you bring to them, like it's not a good position to be in. So when you see a channel, when you hear a podcast that may or may not have affiliations with certain companies, I think you can just say, hey, they're doing something right.
Yeah. I have had, you get these solicitations. I mean, some of them are just hokey, and I'm afraid to even click on links because it might be some type of malware that they're trying to install on my computer. But some of these, I'm serious. I've had some major league products reach out to me, and I just don't feel like doing it. It's just the way I am. I still, I am absolutely wishing to maximize my profitability. I'm a capitalist and I'm not going to apologize. But again, rule number one is it's got to be fun. And if it's going to cause me stress, or if they put standards on me, I'm not going to do it, man.
Yeah, I can't handle that either.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot control Shifty.
Yeah, the people that I do work with the most, with Yappa and with Easton Made, they both are exactly the same. It is put up what you want.
Right.
I blew that hose on my machine, my Yappa, at 30 hours. I blew a hose. They said, put it on. My Easton Made broke down on a live stream, and it was because of that exhaust deflector. But Andrew was like, put it on, man. He has never once put any expectation on me. None.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that gets back to those that are, the creator economy is both the companies and the, creators, and the companies having the confidence and the faith in the creator to engage with their audience as they know best. That's when you want to work with them. But when they put on rules, when they put restrictions, when they say you need to say this, you need to do that, that's when you don't want to work with them. Let me do my thing.
Titan Attachments was the same way with me. I mean, I did their ballast box. I mean, what is exciting about a box that you put rocks in? And I did an episode where I had a gallon of milk in it, and my cat and my Elvis doll, and they thought it was hilarious, where others might have said, oh, you're mocking our product, and they would not approve that. Titan, they have never once told me what to say or what not to say.
Well, I'm going to tell you what to say. I'm going to tell you right now to wrap this episode up so you can get back to bed and feel better.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Well, Dan, maybe we should strike up the band and let's get ready to head on out of here.
Sounds good to me.
I want to thank everyone for logging in and checking out the Wood Hounds podcast and helping us be the #1 firewood podcast in the world.
We'll be back with a new episode next week, 5 a.m. Wednesday mornings. Look for it.
Be there or be square.
Exactly. And everyone out there,
have
a great day. Sponsored by LogOx.